I've done about 50 designs. I have no concrete ideas, like a snapshot of a creative journey at a particular time, right? And now you're like, how do I get one? How do I get a divination card? I'm back. Hello. We're doing vlog style video this time. We're going through the whole catalog of different varieties of videos, but vlog style today. And I'm talking to you about physical divination cards, handmade, fan made recreations of the digital divination cards from Path of Exile into physical divination cards that if you watch the rest of this video, you might be in with a chance to own one of those divination cards. I'm going to give you a rundown on how I got started on this project, how the project itself has been going over the past 5 or 6 years, and my hopes for what it might potentially grow into in the short, medium, and long term. Grow my audience a bit further, just draw a bit more attention to the project, see if there's greater amount of interest there, and whether or not this can progress to something that I might pursue with a bit more focus, commit more time to, and ultimately, I suppose, be more comfortable with the uncertainty that comes with personal and creative projects like these. But enough of the preamble. Welcome on in again. Let's get started. This started for me back during COVID. I was kind of getting into a rut mentally, and the best way for me to kind of break the spell of that is to just do something that involves creating. That's where Three Faces in the Dark came into the picture. Path of Exile has a lot of depth when it comes to lore, when it comes to the narrative, and also when it comes to the artwork and mini stories within the game via items. Divination cards, and in this particular case, Three Faces in the Dark, was a div card that when it dropped, I ended up thinking about it for a day or two afterwards while also discussing it with chat. It's a card that, with two simple colors, yellow and black, is able to make an impactful and striking depiction of a chaos orb and how a chaos orb might look up close. While thinking on that, I also began thinking to myself, how would I go about making that in real life? And that small experiment was a success. I was very fortunate that my community was also interested in my process of figuring out and recreating it, so much so that I made 3 copies and did 3 giveaways for that divination card design. And that then in turn kind of flourished to a project that started to span several months, where the community would vote on a selection of divination card designs that I was interested in making, and I would then try to recreate the design that was the winner. All in all, I think I've made close to 50 designs so far, and all of them have presented various different challenges between, the colors being used, the order in which the colors are to be applied, how do I get consistency between the different copies of the cards, what tools I'll use for the finer line work and the texturing and the aging, and a whole bunch of other elements and layers to the process that I have been fine-tuning over the better part of 500 hours. That honestly was the bulk of COVID for me. Streaming Path of Exile and doing this creative project, eventually with the attempt to return to the life before COVID. We were going back to work, priorities were coming back into focus, and unfortunately, the divination card project just had to take a back seat to other aspects of my life, things that needed my focus more. Essentially, since 2022, 2023 till now, the divination cards have been an off and on hobby that I tip away at when I have time or motivation to dive into it. That brings me to now, to why I'm sitting here in front of you recording this video. I have been maybe doing the stereotypical mid late 30s thing where there's life changes going on around friends and with your family, careers, and so on and so forth. I have found myself trying to hold open several doors in order to give myself the comfort of having options. But I realized with some introspection and some time directed honestly towards myself that I haven't taken action to actually walk through any of these doors, any of these options that I'm giving myself. And instead, I've just kept myself in a holding pattern of sorts. This is where the Divination card project has kind of come back into the focus for me, because it's a fairly significant question for myself. What if? Whether or not this is something that I could do long term, something that could potentially be successful, something that could possibly be a failure. It could have interest, it could have no interest. It's a door. It's a door that I've held open, even if it was very much on, life support being held open. I think I've come to the point now where I'm looking to see if I can get some certainty around it. If there's one thing that is abundant around everything, it's the uncertainty. That's kind of really what's been pumping my brakes, or what I've been pumping my brakes over. It's a fairly natural thing. I think we all have it. There's imposter syndrome, there's the fear of the unknown, fear of the uncertain. That's life, right? We're we are here for hopefully a good time. We're definitely not here on this planet for a long time, at least relatively speaking to history. So I want to know if this is something that I can pursue and see if it has greater appeal to a wider audience, and if it's something that, if I put more time and focus and commitment into it, could it support me and my family? And the most straightforward way to get an answer to that is to just do it. And as you can probably tell, I have no concrete, like, ideas about how to go after this. The same way I didn't have a concrete idea of how I would make Three Faces in the Dark originally. Giveaways for sure can definitely still be something that I do. Commissions, absolutely. We all deserve that one particular divination card that we've maybe been spending 5, 6, 10 leagues trying to farm successfully and unsuccessfully. Or maybe you're somebody who has a friend or has a family member or a colleague who really likes Path of Exile, and you want to get them a gift, or you want to bring a bit of joy or a bit of a smile to their lives. This process for me has been iterated on over the course of 500 hours or 6 years now. It's very much a craft to me personally. The additions and subtractions, techniques and mediums and tools just make it something that I can stand proudly behind and take it to a higher level, take it to a wider audience. I'd also love to try my hand at making some of my own original designs for div cards. Now, obviously, that raises questions of, like, will anyone be interested in my own original designs? I don't know. Will those designs be solely tied to Path of Exile, or will they be based on some life milestones that I end up hitting, some hardships that I have or will go through, and I use those as fuel for this creative expression? Quite possibly. Ultimately, what each of the div cards end up being is like a snapshot of a creative journey at a particular time, right? There are people in my community who have the original three faces in the dark. I've made three or four more updated versions of those cards, but there will only ever be three of those original ones. And it's cool as a almost like a time capsule, a snapshot of a process at the time. Definitely rougher around the edges, like no question. I find that sort of thing interesting. You know, there's almost like a like an artifact quality to it, where oh yeah, this is where Johnny was at with the process in 2021. Oh yeah, this is where Johnny was at with the process in 2025 and whatnot. And I watch a lot of content from, say, Peter McKinnon, Casey Neistat, Matt Davala, Adam Savage. I don't just enjoy those videos because they're entertaining or they're well made. I enjoy them because I'm following somebody who is on a creative journey or is tackling a challenge or rolling the dice on an idea to see if it can work or not. And that's inspiring. I find that very inspiring for myself, and in turn I try to turn that inspiration into motivation for my own projects. Especially, that inspiration essentially becomes like my tag in partner for when my imposter syndrome or inner critic is beating me the fuck up. Obviously, you're here, you've listened to me ramble. Thank you. And now you're like, how do I get one? How do I get a divination card? I have so far one copy of the Doctor Divination card completed. I've used as best a technique as I've been able to develop thus far to recreate it, and I've stayed pretty faithful to it. I'm happy with how it turned out. That essentially is going to be up for grabs in a giveaway at the end of July, and I might also do a giveaway at the end of August as well. It's only one copy at the moment, but depending on the level of interest in this idea, I'm certainly open to doing more copies. In terms of how one enters into it, I haven't ironed out the details yet at all. It's one thing at a time. This I did the divination card. Now I'm doing the video. I'll pin in the comments or in the description the entry process. But if I was to hazard a guess, for Twitch viewers, it'll very likely be a giveaway on the live stream. I'd imagine some kind of tip goal gets you an entry, or if you're a member of Patreon or Coffee, that'll get you entry into the giveaway. YouTube viewers, I imagine the easiest way will be Coffee or Patreon, since it's evergreen content on YouTube. I don't live stream on YouTube. Maybe I should. I don't know. Might be interesting to people. You'll have to let me know. Big caveat with this is I'm going to need a mailing address in order to send you the divination card. So if you're not comfortable giving out your mailing address, I'm afraid you won't be able to have a copy of the Doctor Divination card. That's where I'm at currently. So, this is chapter 1 of this journey, of this adventure. I have no idea how many chapters there will be. I have no idea what the pacing of it will all be like, what the highs and the lows are going to be like. But more than anything, I want to do my best to honestly give it a go and try and get an answer to the what if. What if this succeeds? So I hope to see you for the chapters following this. I hope you enjoy coming on this adventure with me. Thank you very much for your time. Hope you have a good day. All the best.